to teach you how to drive traffic to your websites, page views, impressions, increase your RPM. It will basically help improve your ads revenue. And this is going to be free of charge. So, how do you get started? So, in order for you to drive traffic to your websites, you're not going to spend spending money on sponsored ads or any of that. You only need one software, that is OkecBot. So, OkecBot is practically like the best bot software you can think of at the moment. Why? Because of three major things. The first thing OkecBot does is that it helps you automate things. So normally, if you were to create a bot, you would have to write lots of codes and all that. But on OkecBot, you can just, select the things you want to do. Like, I want to visit a website, I want to click on this button, I want to scroll down, I want to now click advertisement, I want to come back again, I want to do this. Like, you can practically just keep setting what you want the bot to do, and then you can add that thing you have now set, you can now send them to as many bots as possible. So you can create something like visit my website, click on about us, click on latest posts, go through the site, stay like 2 minutes on it. Now this is called an instruction or a task. You can save it. Then you can now take that instruction and or task and execute it like 2,000 times or 3,000 times. Now each time you execute it, it will not execute it with a particular device. It will execute it with as many devices as possible. You can say execute this task as an iPhone, execute it as an Android, execute it as different devices, and it will execute perfectly fine. Now the best part is that while it is executing these things, it is doing it in a way that it doesn't get detected, which is the second thing. Getting to use bots, the problem with bots is the fact it will get you banned. There are lots of people who have lost their Google AdSense account of many years just because they were trying to drive traffic with bots. So getting to use anything that has to do with bots on its own is completely, in fact, it's against Google's terms of service. Their policy, AdSense policy, is already against it. However, the only strong reason you should use OkecBot is the fact it bypasses every bot detection system. So now they could actually detect you when you use other bots, but when you use OkecBot, they don't get to detect you. Like, it bypasses all those detections. It has its own algorithms that fight against those detections. So when you visit a website, instead of them to know that now you're a bot, they just think you're a normal human being. And then the last part of OkecBot is the fact it uses AI. Now, this is not one of those people who come in and say, "Oh, something uses AI," then it's just to sell up a service or all that. No, in real time, you understand how this works, especially on the AI department. When you make a Google search, you want to search for something on Google. Now, you can come up with very unique search. So, if you know something you rank on Google, and you want to first head over to Google, make a Google search about something you're good at. Maybe you provide a particular service, but you don't want to use a key phrase. You don't want to use a specific sentence to keep on searching on Google, so it doesn't look suspicious. You want to be searching for yourself on Google, but with different approaches, so it looks like these are like real human beings trying to know more about your products. Now, things like that can be generated with AI. It will just keep on generating different search tests. As it's generating each test, it's searching you on Google. Now, if Google presents a list of websites, it won't click on other people's results. It will click on your own specific website. So it means that the bot can actually head over to Google, search for something related to you. With all the result that comes up, it will actually go to where it is you and click on your link. So these are like part of the AI features and then other beautiful features. But now, what I would show you is how to drive free traffic to your website without paying a cent. So to start driving free traffic to your website, impressions, page views, and all that, you have to install OkecBot. So scroll up and click on this download link. When you click on the download link, you can see that OkecBot is available for Windows. Now, if you have a Windows 10 and above, you can download the software. Now, the moment you download OkecBot, you would need what we call an API key. Don't worry, the key is free. You don't have to pay to get it. It's free of charge. Just head back to the okecbot.com and click on this account. When you click on account, click on register where it says register. Now, once you click on register, it will ask you for a referral email. So this means who referred you. Now, also note that if you refer your friends, you get 20% of anything they buy on OkecBot. So this simply means that OkecBot is free. You can drive traffic with it for free. But there's some very pro level features. Now, these pro level features are what will help you make more money on Google AdSense, ADX, Ezoic, any of them, even Spotify and AudioMac. But now, those pro features that are being paid for, if anybody registers with your own API, with your own email rather, The moment they buy anything or purchase any of those pro features, you get 20%. But now, for now, this is not important. Just use my own API key, since I presume you're getting to watch this video from me, and I am your tutor. So using my own API key, dannyokec@gmail.com. Now fill in the rest of the details and create an account. Now I already have an account with OkecBot. So what I will do is to log into my account. Now I'm going to log into my account on OkecBot. After logging into my account on OkecBot, by the left side, you can see where it says API key access. API key access. Now, this API key access basically will show us our API key, which you can see it here. But then you can see I can't actually view it. However, if I click on this particular icon over here, it will copy the API key. So I will click on this icon, it will copy it. So I now know it's copied to my clipboard. Now next, I'm going to head over to the OkecBot app. This is what the software looks like when you run it as administrator. So the moment you open OkecBot app on your computer, just click on next, and paste that API key here. So I'm going to do Ctrl V, and I'm going to paste the API key, and I'll click on authenticate API key. Now, this particular section, I'll just take like few seconds to explain what is happening right now. Now, remember at the beginning of this video, I told you that OkecBot is a web automation tool. So practically, what OkecBot actually is a software that you can use to create what we call tasks. These tasks are like things you want a browser to execute. So for instance, now, let's assume I visit google.com. Now, visiting google.com is like going to be called a task. We're going to call this task Google search. So now let's assume this is a task called Google search. The task says visit google.com, which is step 1. Step 2, the task says come to google.com, which is this particular input box, and type for something. So this thing could be, let's say, virtual football prediction software or something. Now, I just did something. All right, the first thing I did was to go to google.com. The second thing I did was to enter the search box and search for virtual football prediction software. And then that was the following things I did. Now, if I want to boost my SEO, let's assume I want to increase my ranking on Google. I want to be the number 1 whenever anybody searched for something I know I rank on. Now, I could tell as many people as possible to keep heading over to Google, to keep searching for a particular test word, and when Google search brings a result, they should please click on my own website. Now, if I can convince thousands of people to do this, and they all do it, after a while, even if I'm at the bottom of Google, Google will take me up from where I was at the bottom and bring me to the front results. So this simply means that the ability of you ranking for a particular keyword practically relies on, if people make a Google search on this particular sentence or this search phrase and they see lots of results, which particular result has been so relevant that once people go there, they always love, or they're always picking that result over other results. Now, making yourself to be picked over or amongst your peers could be something very difficult if you don't have the following, if you don't have the audience, if you don't have thousands of people who would go make these Google searches for you. Well, practically now, this is where OkecBot comes in, because OkecBot practically can help you write anything you can do on a site. All these tasks we just performed, all these actions we just did, we can actually write them as a set of instructions, save them on OkecBot, and then we can now create thousands of browsers and then distribute that task to those browsers. Now, each of the browser would actually head over to Google, make a Google search, and click on that particular link. So now this means that although we don't have the audience, we don't have the thousands of people to help us do this, but on OkecBot, we have created thousands of devices with thousands of cookies having to make these Google searches and always picking up first among the search results. Now, this is just one of the very beautiful features of OkecBot. The fact you can actually make it perform any task a human being would. But on this tutorial, I'm not teaching you how to make Google searches. I'm just teaching you on how to drive free traffic with OkecBot. So now I've copied this particular API key, and I've also put in that API key on OkecBot, and it has logged me in. In order for me to start driving free traffic, all I need to do is to click on the menu and click on creator mode. The moment I click on creator mode, I can see that there are three things I can do. I can create a bot or list of bots or as many bots as possible. I can create the locations I would want to be using to execute this bot. So each time I want to have a bot to do something, I would want it to be done from this location or that location or this other location. Yes, I can create as many location settings, or I can create all the task settings, which means the things I would want to be performing, the actions I would want to be taking. I can actually create them here. Now, because I would want to teach you how to drive free traffic to your website the safe and the secured way, I would proceed into creating the task immediately. So I will click on create task. Now I've clicked on create task. You can see that I have two options here. All I have at the moment is a website and the amount of time I want to spend on this website. This other one is just to give the thing a name. So practically, this is the two major things I have to focus on: the website I would want to be driving this traffic to, and the amount of seconds I want to spend on that website. So let's assume the website I'm going to be driving this traffic to is HTTPX. Now, I would advise you just head over to the website itself on your Google Chrome and copy the link from there. So let's say this website is called renaps.com. I'm going to copy the website link. I will head back to OkecBot and I will paste it there. So I've pasted the name of the website I would want to be loading, or the web page, or the specific URL, or the post link, or the link to the article, or whatever you want to drive traffic to. I would first put the link over here where it says URL, and the next I'll put in how many seconds I would want this particular browser, any browser that opens up this particular website, how many seconds would I want them to be on the page before they go offline. So I could say I want them to stay within 20 to 30 seconds. Now this is completely up to you. You could make it stay a minute, you could make it stay up to 2 minutes. For those people who have YouTube channels that want to increase their watch hours, they can even make it spend up to 30 minutes just staying on the YouTube video page, so it looks like they're actually streaming the YouTube video, thereby increasing their watch hours and all that. So now it is up to you to put in how many seconds you would want a bot to be on this particular URL. So for me, I just said 20 to 30 seconds. Now the next one is to put in the name of the task. What do you want to name this thing, so you can remember it in case of next time? So I'm going to call mine real naps loading. So that's because it's just going to be loading up the website realnaps.com. Now I'm going to now click on add to executable list. Now the moment I click on add to executable list, it will add it to what we call a list of executables, which is a list of things that this bot will be performing. Now this list will be given to given to a okay, we're going to get there soon. When we get there, you understand better. So now I've added this to a list of executable. I'll just click on save executable list. Now I will now call this list I'm going to be saving as something. So I want to call it renaps loading, just so I can actually remember it in case of next time. So I'll click on save, and it will now save these things I want to do, which here we just have one, which is visit renaps.com. But I can keep on adding and adding and adding. Let's say I want to visit renaps.com, then I want to go and visit another website, then another website, then another website. Let's say I have 4 websites. I could make it visit these 4 websites and even visit some other websites, because it is not just reasonable for the bot to be visiting only your website. They have to visit other websites that do similar things as you do, so the advertisement they get to see will look similar. If it's only your website, it's even an issue. That's because this bot saves all your cookies, your local storage, your bot state. So because they'll be able to recognize you when they have a background check. Google does this analytics where if a user lands on a page that has Google AdSense, there's usually a very split second background check that checks the kind of person this person is, what kind of advertisement are we going to place to him, how many places has he been before now, what other places has he seen. No, they have this little personality profile they've written about you. So now this simply means that if you're automating a task and all this bot does, all the tasks they always perform is to come to your site. It doesn't make sense. It's suspicious. The only thing you do is your own activity. So you can actually tell it to do so many other things in order to make sure that the fingerprint of those cookies of those bots are also seen some other places. Okay, so that being said, we only just have one here just for the sake of teaching you how to drive free traffic. So I'm just going to click on save, which I think I've already done that. And now I have created the task. It is time to head back to the creator mode and create the bots. So this section is just basically who would execute all these activities you just created, those tasks we created. Who would execute them? What kind of devices do we want to execute them? Now, the best part of OkecBot is the fact you can create as many devices as possible, although depending on the subscription you have. But for somebody who is using a free plan just like you can create up to like 50 bots for free. So this simply means I'll click on the create bots and I'll put in the bot I want. So for me, I want like let's say 20. I want 20 iPhones. I want 20 Android. I want let's say 5. I want 5 Mac, and I want 5 Windows. So total I have like 40 devices. And I'm going to call these devices real naps, underscore loader. Now, time zone, I'm currently in Nigeria, so I'm just going to use my Lagos Africa time zone. For those watching this, please, it's free to do this. I know the moment I mentioned Nigeria, um ears might be popping, but you can actually test this for free. What we're doing right now is actually free. Creating up to 50 bots on a free OkecBot account is free. Now, I would click on start build, and within the next few seconds it would start building up these bots. Okay, it has created the bot. It is uploading the bot right now to OkecBot Saver. So the essence of uploading it's so if you download OkecBot on another computer, use your API key over and over again on as many systems as possible, every single thing is synced with our saver. So let's assume you have like 2 computers right now. You can install OkecBot on the 2 of them or as many as possible. You will notice that each time you create the bot is also available on virtually all the systems. So practically this has been saved. The next is to head over to what we call the free executor. It is practically a free software, or is a free section that launches this bot for you. So I'm going to click on the menu again. You can see when I clicked on the menu, initially I was clicking on creator mode. Now I'm clicking on launcher mode. And when I clicked on launcher mode, I clicked on no bot states. So on this no bot states, which is the free executor, it will practically launch these activities, but this time around it launches it without a fingerprint. So this means it will execute this task, but each time it executes it, it doesn't execute it with cookies. Now the ones you get to use cookies for are the paid ones, but if you're just driving free traffic, you can actually drive with the free section. Now the only difference is you can load 2,000 views. You will end up seeing at the end of the whole day they deduct like 1,700. But when you use the one that has bot states, it is very difficult to have any form of deduction. Now, since this is free and you just want to try it out, I mean, that is why we're giving it to you for free. You can try out the free one that doesn't have a bot state. So now I'm going to click on the executable, which is a list of tasks to execute, and I'll look for that task we had created. I think we called the task real naps loading. Now, when I click on real naps loading, which is a task, I would also click on this section. This section was called an executable, a list of tasks to be executed. This other section is called a bot family, which is a list or group of bots, to execute this task. And I remember initially we had created bots. When we created those bots, we gave them a name called Renap something something. I think so. So that name we gave to those bots, they were a total of about 50, and each of them was being uploaded one after the other. But they were given a base name, and the base name was Renap something. Yes, which is Renap's loader. So now we created a total of 20 iPhone, 20 Android, 5 Windows, and 5 Mac. Now these are the devices that were all created under this Renap's loader. So what this simply means is that these bots or the configurations of these bots in this Renap's loader, they will be the ones to execute this task over here or this executable over here called Renap's loading. Now, having done that, if I had locations like proxy servers I had already added before now, I would have just tuned them, but I didn't teach you how to add proxies. So I'll just leave this at the default location. But in practice, you can drive traffic from multiple locations. Like me, for instance, I have UK, Los Angeles, New York, Canada, Chicago, London. I have lots and lots of locations I can execute from, and then the bot traffic will be coming in from all those locations. But for us, we just work with the default location, which is what we have over here. So the next, I'm going to put in how many iPhones I would want to be executing this activity, how many Androids, and how many Mac, and how many Windows. So I'm not going to actually even load up the Mac and Windows. I mean, those ones are quite huge. Once they start popping up, the whole screen will be, will be disturbed. So I'll just use the iPhone and I'll use the Android. So on iPhone, I'm going to put in 1 to 2. On Android, I'm going to put in 2 to 3. That's because over here in Nigeria, lots of people come up with Android phones more than iPhones. But now, if this is you, check the kind of devices people use often when they could visit your website. And make sure when you're trying to simulate this traffic, you simulate something that is already close to the organic traffic you have. So I'm just going to click on Start button, and that's all. That's all. At this particular point in time now, it will keep on opening lots of browsers. These browsers is opening, they're all coming in with different settings. Now these settings are practically different configuration. They would visit the website we want it to visit, they would spend the amount of seconds we want it to spend there. This thing will be running 24/7. Now, if you're using one IP address, it's a problem. Now, your location should be coming in from different places. So I will teach you how to come from different places, but then use the comment section to say I want it. If I see up to 10 comments asking how do I turn this from different locations, because right now I'm opening as many browsers as possible, but then if you get to notice, it's only coming in from a default location. If you want to learn how to come from different locations and how to do this in real time, use the comment section to say I'm interested.